Good evening, everyone. Respected dignitaries, principals, professors, and my fellow friends. I invite the guests to Institute of Public Enterprise. First, I invite Dr. Rajashekhara onto the dais to receive the guests. Next, I invite Shri Shri, Managing Director, ECIL, Rapiscan Sector Institute. I invite Mr. Shri sir on the dais. And lastly, I invite Shri Rajashekhara on the dais. I request Tanya to come on to that. I request Tanya to give a bouquet to the Rajashekhara. Now I invite Shri to give an introduction on the next.
Respected Shri, Shri Rajashekhara, Professor, distinguished invitees, members of the faculty and students. Personally, I feel very privileged to introduce to you two personalities who prove that any goal is reachable and environment is what you make, even within the framework and constraints of PSCs. Shri H. former chairman and manager of ECIL, distinguished himself by displaying outstanding leadership capabilities in achieving a total turnaround of ECIL from the brink of sickness in a short span of 3 years. Shri is presently the managing director of ECIL Rapiscan Limited, a joint venture between ECIL and Rapiscan of USA. Shri had a brilliant academic career and graduated in electronics and telecommunication engineering from the University of Pune with distinction, and was the recipient of the gold medal for academic excellence, having stood first in the university. He joined the Baba Academic Research Center as a trainee in the 9th batch of BRC training school during 1965 and came over to Hyderabad in 1967 as one of the key members of the core of ECIL in the formative period of the company. While in training school, he was trained in nuclear-related fields, and he has an in-depth experience in the areas related to R&D and R&D management in a high technology environment. By virtue of working in a technology-driven PSU, he developed his own school of management thought centered around simple management principles. He addressed very complex issues with effortless ease in a common sense mode and achieved remarkable success. He firmly believed and systematically demonstrated that the best approach lies in efficient utilization of internally available resources. He not only made participative management a reality at ECIL, but proved that the unity of purpose achieved as a result of this ensured unprecedented levels of industrial harmony, resulting in high levels of productivity, profits, and overall motivation. The exemplary leadership abilities demonstrated by Shri during his tenure at ECIL brought all-round recognition and a number of prestigious awards for the company as well as for himself. The Scope Award for Excellence and Outstanding Contribution to the Public Sector in the Turnaround category for ECIL is a testimony to the management capabilities of Shri. This brilliant comeback story has now become a case study for management institutes and an inspiration for those PSUs who are endeavoring to achieve similar success. Shri was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Industrial Automation, India's leading industrial electronics magazine, and the Ujjwala Award from the Institute of Economic Studies. On a personal note, I would like to mention that he was my 14th batch of 14th pass and second teacher at ECIL. I had the pleasure and satisfaction of assisting him in the defining years of ECIL in the period 97-2003 when the point of inflection has really taken place. If he has to be summed up in one sentence, he is a very focused and practical manager. He will not lose sight of the goals. For him, the method that works is the right and effective method. He has a natural and delightful sense of humor which enables him to diffuse any tense situation and put people back on the track. The relationship management of abilities of Shri have helped him and the company tide over many difficult situations. Friendship with competitors is a concept which he developed and introduced in the company. A very fast thinker and reader, he has time for everything. Shri is very disciplined and regular in his habits. His humor and his habits help him not only look but also function as a much younger person than his age. He has an uncanny capacity to spot talent and winners. The freedom and empowerment he provides to the competent ones has enabled the talent to blossom to unprecedented levels. Shri Rajashekhara is a shining example of this policy of Shri. And coming to CMD ECIL, Shri Rajashekhara is a brilliant control systems engineer, a successful business executive, and an able administrator. He is a postgraduate in control and automation engineering and holds an MBA with finance and marketing as specializations. Further to this, Shri Rao has added qualifications in psychology, human resources management, taxation, materials management. He is a fellow member of the IETE and a senior member of the Institution of Engineers. He has several publications to his credit and he has distinguished himself by contributing to the second turnaround of ECIL in the very recent past. He has received an award for the Control and Automation Division in October 2003 from the Ministry of Information and Technology for his work in the area of distributed control systems and simulator projects. And he was conferred recently the Performance Excellence Award by the Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering for his exemplary technical and managerial abilities. Shri Rao has extensively toured Europe, USA and Gulf on several business issues. Above all, it has to be mentioned that Mr. Rajashekhara is an intensely human personality and helps the needy in the society in various ways in a silent way. It's a very happy occasion for IPE that these two turnaround champions are sharing the dais here at IPE. To all of you, Shri Rajashekhara, Dr. Mishra, Shri Rao, Manali Das, my colleagues and friends from ECIL, I think others are students, faculty members and students. First of all, let me thank IP management to invite me to give a talk. The topic I chose was how to manage discontinuities and uncertainties in the business environment.
lecture is actually for a half a day course or half a day talk. Now I think we already lost 20 minutes probably in this thing. So I'll have to catch a flight I'll have to leave at around 5 o'clock. So some of them will run through. But wherever it is of interest to you, stop me and we can have some discussion there. The whole purpose of this lecture is not to take any notes. Understand what is the concept we are talking about. First of all, discontinuities. I want to spend some time on discontinuities. Today, all our accounts are prepared on a going concern basis. That means we assume perpetuity for a company. We assume continuity for a company. At the same circumstances, we must understand how the market behaves. Market assumes discontinuity and tries to accommodate continuity, whereas companies assume continuity and try to do something when there is a discontinuity. So there is a basic mismatch between the company's operate, company's mindset, and how the market operates. Ultimately, the market is the winner. Market has no emotions. Company has lot of emotions. There are people, human beings. Market is totally emotionless. It punishes the people who are not efficient, companies which are not efficient, and honors those companies who are very efficient. And at the same time, very efficient companies become inefficient, they throw them out. If you look at every year, Standard and Poor or the Fortune 500 publishes the top 50 companies, top 500 companies. Have you ever wondered why those companies who were at the top do not remain at that point or that place? So they are doing very well, they are very rich, they can get all the top consultants to work for them, they can get the top CEO to work for them, they can have all the best in the world, but they still do not remain there. If you look at, I understand Fortune 500 or the Standard and Poor kind of list started maybe 50-60 years back. Today only one company which is still standing is the General Electric. And if you really look at what is the structure of General Electric today, it is less of electric and more of finance. The more contribution of 40 to 60% of the contribution of General Electric today come from their financial operations rather than the electrical operations. That means it has totally changed itself over the years. There are many companies which were existent, which were top, including IBM, went through a number of cycles of good performance, bad performance, very, very poor performance, on the brink of sickness. And some of them have come back, some of them have vanished from the market. So basic point is, there is a discontinuity in the market. The people, the companies which recognize discontinuity and work for that kind of situation are likely to survive much better than those people who always think they have the right for perpetual existence. What all this means? What is the purpose of the business? Purpose of the business is to create value, create wealth. In fact, there is a book called Gold. I don't know how many of you have read, by Goldratt. It says purpose of any business is to convert cash into more cash. You may be in the aircraft industry, you may be in hotel industry, you may be nuclear industry. End of the day, if a business enterprise does not convert cash into more cash, it doesn't do its purpose. In that process, you may increase productivity, you may bring about new products, you may bring about new methods of working and things like that. But ultimately, the end of the day, you have to generate more cash than what you use up. So we generate value, we create value. Will this value be always stagnant? This value moves, this value migrates, value is not destroyed. Value migrates from one company to the other company, one industry to the other industry, one country to the other country. So all the time in the marketplace, there is a value which is migrating. So first of all, when we talk about discontinuity, we talk about attacking the uncertainties. We must understand what is this value, why it migrates, what are the causes of this migration, and what is it that we can do to take advantage of this migration. So we will spend some time on what are the concept of value migration, causes of value migration, and what is it that we can go about. All of you, I think some of the very senior colleagues who know, one time we used in the engineering college slide rule. Today it is not there. The company which used to do the Aristo studio was one of the best in the world. Today it is not there. Totally vanished. And similarly the typewriter, the LP record player, all that you can see, the floppies have disappeared. So a lot of things happen all the time in the marketplace. The landlines are getting replaced with the GSM, CDMA. There's again a battle going on between GSM and CDMA, which one will survive. If you look at some of the recent news items, the landline telephones are being surrendered in large numbers. The people who were all the time providing this service are at disadvantage. Hewlett Packard is thinking of offering flat screen TVs. Did we ever think about Hewlett Packard in the TV? We did not. Sony, which used to make the Trinitron, one of the best TV in the world, suddenly found that they are out of business. There is no demand for that. They shut down 20,000 jobs, and they said they will shut down the factory itself which is making Trinitron TVs. You all have heard about Maruti and others. Sony, which used to make, I think first, what is it called? Audio. Walkman. So today people are talking about music downloads from the net. There is no hardware involved. Total change. All of you have heard about the East Masters Vice HMV, which used to make those plates. Suffered so much in the business because they did not keep pace with the technology. ITC, I recently read this. ITC is bullish about store in stores. That is the concept today. A very, very mega stores, in that you have a store. So they see a business opportunity in that kind of situation. Slow to adapt, Nokia. Nokia was one of the best in the world for making the handsets. They never probably heard of Samsung or the other fellow coming up in the market. And they were slow to adapt to the market. They lost a large market share. Even today their market share is what used to be is much, much lower than what it used to be. Maruti 800, we thought this car is the people's car and it will never be challenged. There are enough people to challenge that car today. Recently, I think this is what appeared. Nissan is entering with $2,500 car in India. There is a news, Indian software industries will not survive. Indian software industry is based on our knowledge about English, our arbitrage on the wages, and if some other African company comes to the same level, all jobs will move. As I said earlier, the market has no emotion. It has no affection to India or Nigeria or some other place. It just moves. The value moves from a place where it is beneficial for the market to move. The last one, this is a very interesting thing. Chinese people are making Benares brocade sarees. We thought it is the birthright of the Benares people to make sarees. I recently bought an idol of Hanuman. It's so beautiful. And I was told it is made in China. There is a large market in India for idols. So China has caught up that. It does not matter. They need not know who is Hanuman, what did he do and all that. Point is, there is a demand, I must meet the demand. They are catching it up. What does all this indicate? That means the value moves from one place to the other place. Value migrates. If you look at the computer industry is a very classic example of value migration. If you remember, IBM used to do hardware, software, distribution, networking, all that, all in one. And they were very famous for their mainframe computers. They never recognized that PCs are going to come one day. Both HP and IBM ignored the revolution of PCs. Somewhere else I am going to say, the companies who are doing well today do not want anything to change because there is a very comfortable position for them. So IBM lost the race. In fact, there is a HP chairman sometimes saying, quite some time back, saying that we do not see any need for PCs to be on the people's table. Whereas Apple dreamt of it, PC for every man, woman and a child. So by the time PC came up in the market, IBM had lost the race. IBM wanted to bring about their PC faster than in the market so that they don't lose the race altogether. In that process, the processor they subcontracted to Intel. The development of software they subcontract to Microsoft. The networking, some other companies, they created. So they lost value. Today, if you look at the market capitalization of IBM is much, much lower than the market capitalization of Microsoft. Microsoft was practically, the IBM was the cause for creation of Microsoft. That is how value moves from IBM to the other areas. Even today, IBM, as late as probably 3 years back, totally sold off their PC business to Lenovo. Today, IBM is more concentrating on the consultancy business. It's totally changed. Infosys, Wipro, you all heard about it. Reliance, one time Reliance means only women. Today they are well versed in many areas, including telecom. What is the concern? The customer priorities keep changing. Customer requirements keep changing. Of course, the companies with their own innovative methods can influence the customer's requirement, customer priority. So a company which designs a business model or a business design which meets the requirement of the customer is something which is successful. The moment this equilibrium breaks, the value starts moving. So value migrates from outmoded business designs, outmoded components, outmoded equipment to better equipment. Today you may come out with a very bright idea. You may put that idea into practice. But it will create value for a certain period. That's what I keep saying. Every business design or business model has a limited value creation life cycle. Today I don't think anybody can say, if you come out with 1, 2, 3, 4, you will exist for 100 years. There is nothing like that. When value migrates, it can affect a division of a company. If, right here in Hyderabad, it affected our TV division. It can affect the whole company, like Aristo Studio or Hindustan, or what is that? Whole industry. When there was an oil crisis, there was a need for small cars. America is never used for small cars. When Japanese came with a small car, it has to be less weight. So lot of components moved from, earlier they used to make from steel, moved over to plastic. So the value moved over from steel industry to the plastic industry. The value also can move from one country to the other country. Lot of value. For example, toys today, everywhere in the world, toys are only made in China. Nowhere else. Electrical items. We had, I recently went to, there is one Bhagirat Palace in Delhi. Used to have a lot of electrical items made in India. Today you don't find even a single one. Everything is made in China. That means lot of value has moved from this country to China. Not that it will remain there, it may move somewhere else. How is this process? How is value movement? Value movement takes place. There is always an inflow. When I come with a bright idea, and I come with a bright business model, and I come with a bright product, I start absorbing value. That means my company capitalization goes up. Then there is a stability, because the moment somebody comes with a new idea, there is some time lag before somebody else catches it up. Until then, this company reaps the benefit of such an advantage. Then there is a stability. There is certain amount of competition. There is certain amount of stability. Then, when it becomes outmoded, the value starts moving elsewhere. So there is an inflow, there is a stability phase and outflow. I'll skip this. This axis is value divided by revenue. Value I mean market capitalization. When a company comes with a bright idea, its revenue may be low, but its potential to create wealth in the market is much higher. So its market capitalization moves. It starts here. There is a limited competition because you have come out with a bright idea, bright product. There are buyers for this. People are anxious to buy this kind of item. So you create more value than others. That means somebody else who would have bought the other items is coming to you. That means value is moving from that company or that nation, that division to you. There is a high growth. There is a waiting period. Whenever there is a big, people come with a very big, very novel thing, there is a waiting period for that. High profitability, because you can always price it in such a way that it is something novel. This phase, companies make a lot of money. Then this idea is caught by others. Then there is a stability. There are more competitors in the marketplace, there is certain stability. Over a period, somebody else comes with a much better idea. The value moves from this particular thing to somewhere else. So that is why decline starts. But though I have shown it is a very nice geometric figure, the lines are never like this. You will even not know when are we moving out of this phase to the next phase. Companies, by the time they realize that we are going out of this, it's too late for doing. So once you are in a value migration outflow phase, competitive intensity is very high. Somebody else has come out with the better ideas. You are down. There is a declining sales. There are low profits. And companies try to do all sort of cost cutting. Recently, I don't know why companies do that. One of the very well-known companies, when their profits were down, the first thing they said is they will cut down their R&D budget. I'm sure any management student will tell you that is the wrong thing to do. you are in stability phase, you can afford to make more investment in your growth. You can think about new ideas. Whole concept is nothing is sustainable. You need to continuously work on new ideas, new models, new products, etc. As I already touched upon this, the computer industry is the best example of value migration. It is IBM which created this kind of, earlier computer was one, we never thought about processor, operating system, low cost distribution, communication software, networking. All that was created because of outsourcing, because to bring about a new product faster to the market. How the game of business has changed over the years. In 1960s and 70s, people say the business was like playing a football game. That means short burst of activities. Wherever there is a ball, you try to concentrate on that and then do that. That was the business kind of thing. Then it moved to a kind of volleyball concept. Space quickened. You need to have attention all the time, or other side will score over you. And today what is the situation? It is like chess. Chess means you will have to think about 2-3 moves and you must know the value of each component. So it's lot of logic has to be applied. You must think about 3 moves, 4 moves ahead of us. If I move like this, what will happen in the marketplace? So moves and counter moves attract space. I am sure all of you are aware what you must be reading all this economic times. This every time you come across this kind of thing. Somebody has come out with a better model and somebody else has suffered. Value is not disappearing. Value all the time is created, but it only distribution changes. Why this value moves? What are the causes of this value movement? There is a technological discontinuity, technological obsolescence, new technologies come in the marketplace, obsolete business models or business designs, tunnel vision. I will explain to you what is the tunnel vision. And then there is an institutional memory and cultural lock-in. No company is outside this kind of thing. Everybody gets into this problem, however good he is, however forward-looking they are. These are the basic things, they are in the genes of the company. Look at technological discontinuity. All the time R&D is going on, people want to bring about new products in the marketplace. This is unavoidable. You cannot wish away the technological advancement. So all the time it happens. Whenever new things come, for example, digital cameras versus, we had a company in Uttarakhand who was making a Hindu. Nowhere. Hindustan photo films. They never went into other area. Kodak means the Agfa. You see in Agfa, they make only films. Digital cameras came, and digital cameras came, prices were very high. Today you don't see the other cameras at all, it's only digital cameras. This example can be given at many places. As technology brings about a product, people start using that product. The market expectations on that product go up. That is how the change occurs. This is a typical curve. The market need is something like this. All the time we expect a better product. Oh, if this feature were there, it would have been a better product. Like that. the current project saturates like this, there is a pressure for the new technology. So all the time people recognize this and people must be working on this. Technology evolution normally follows an S-curve. Somewhere the technologies will be in the nascent form, somewhere they will be in the matured form. For example, you take today, we are all very familiar with microelectronics. Today people have started talking about nanoelectronics. So nanoelectronics must be somewhere here. Or so many other products. For example, other day I read about hydrogen car. Today it is very costly, very expensive to make a hydrogen car. But I am sure one day hydrogen car will be more, it will be cheaper than the other one, the way in which the crude prices are going up. Maybe one day, we don't know. The people who are knowledgeable about this, something is going to happen, I must be aware of this. What do I do when such a thing happens in the marketplace? So normally technology, many companies do not even know that there is a new technology because we are all busy in our current activities. Then we come to business design or a business model. What is a business model? You are all sum total of all your activities of the company with which you deliver an item or a utility to a customer. It can differ from company to company. Those companies who can deliver more efficiently, more cost effective way, more customer friendly way, they get better business than the others. How do you select your customers? What should be your customer base? For example, when all this GSM etc. started, some of the companies were only targeting the high net worth individuals. I was told somewhere, Reliance planned that even a carpenter should have a telephone. That is how they planned. And today the dream has come true. Probably carpenters and other people are better equipped with telephones than other people. So how do you select your customer? How do you define your differentials? Configure your resources. Using your resources in a more effective way itself is a big difference. How do we create value for the customer? Let's talk about tunnel vision. Another reason why value migrates. When a company starts, vision within the company is all distorted by past patterns. We always think, no, we have been successful. Recently I was talking to one of the guy from one of the public sector. I asked, we must change the way, but no sir, we have been working like this for 20 years. How do you expect us to change? We will not change. If that, no, why it has come? They know that there is a need to change, but it's very difficult to change. It's a tunnel vision. It is an industry thing. If somebody asks you who are your competitors, normally our answer is, we count all those people who make what we have been making. That is our definition of competitors. If that is the kind of definition, Reliance would not have entered telecom. So today things are changing. Entry barriers, if they are not very high, anybody who has money, anybody has investment capacity can enter any field. Institutional memory and cultural lock-in. It's a very powerful force within any company. When I have a nice picture there, I will show you a little later. When a company is established, we all talk about the customer is the most important element in our whole thing. So, customer focus. Everybody, right from the view to the managing director, talk about customer is important and customer is focus. Then after that, the company grows, you start making profit, you do better. There will be internal profit, there will be processes, systems, this, that and all that. As we grow, internal problems, we need to attend to them. then customer is no more a focus point. Internal issues begin to compete with effectively for management time and attention. I'm sure it's happening to every organization. That is how institutional memory is built in. The way in which we have been working. When we start a company, all attention is on the customer. Customer is the most important element in the company and all attention is on the customer. As we grow, as we become more profitable, there is also certain amount of complacency and arrogance gets into the company. Then what happens? There are a lot of internal issues. Customer moves to the end. We have a lot of internal issues to be solved. Whether you like it or not, it happens with every company. But ultimately, when internal issues, these that are so much, the customer totally disappears. It is only internal issues. All the time companies are looking at internal issues.
What are internal issues, for example?
No, so many. For example, you remove the customer. You have your own, within your problems, cash management, this, that, all sorts of your HR problems, your IR issues. So we develop a sort of a thing that this is how we should do the business. That is what gets into because you have been successful. The moment I am successful, I think this is what is going to work and I forget the rest. Though we started with a new company, why it is successful, it has no institutional memory, it has no baggage. I want you to listen to this. Is a very nice way of telling how a dynamic of unsatisfactory underperformance. All of you know what is underperformance. I don't know how many of you have heard satisfactory underperformance. When we start a company, when we come out with new ideas, come out with new business plans, come out with new products, we are very successful. Successful business strategy, competitiveness, growth, profits, you add on a lot of, you please the shareholders, you please the, you create more profits and things like that. Then managers begin to think, this is the best way to do business. We are more successful in business. And they believe they are the best. Builds layers of staff to cope with the growth. Then there is a certain amount of arrogance, internal focus on control. Today we have been talking about management should be more a facilitator rather than a controller. If you remember some time back, we are a financial controller. Or even the BRC still has what is known as a controller. So when this happens, there is an initiative and innovation still free. The gradual decline. What is satisfactory underperformance? We all know market decides whether, today market decides whether you are doing well or not. It has its own yardstick. The people who do not meet the market expectations, their market capitalization goes down very fast. So today all CEOs are bothered about meet or beat the street. And even America it has happened. Many people have fudged their account. But then internally, the managers, even the top management, the board of directors, think, no, this is the best we could do under circumstances. So we try to justify performance which from market perspective is a poor performance. But company decides that it is satisfactory performance. So many companies get into this kind of satisfactory underperformance syndrome. We talked about the institutional memory. They are very strong force. That means the way in which we have been doing, there is no other way to do the business. We don't think about new ways unless we are jolted. Let's talk about who triggers the value migration. It is the new confidence who has no baggage. He starts. For example, if you take a, many people give the example of Hindustan Lever and Nirma. Nirma started making those detergent. He started making in a very small way. He started a lot of value moved from Hindustan Lever to Nirma. Or the T series from his master's West company. Not just examples in India, but elsewhere also. So they do not have any institutional memory. They are trying to focus on the customer. They are in the first phase. Subsequently, they go into the last phase. But they have started. They start the value migration process. Is value migration a bad thing? No, it is not bad. When it migrates, that means it creates lot of opportunities for others to enter in the market. But those people who are not sensitive to this kind of value migration and do not adapt, somewhere else we saw the recent news item that is slow to adapt, Nokia loses the market share. What it means, that means we should look at the future. Today, if any company looks at, let us say 5 years probably is too long a period, let us say 3 years. If you fast forward for 3 years and ask a question ourselves, are we going to be the business the way we have been doing the business? Are today's my products and services which I am offering today, will they have a relevance after 3 years? If not, what should I do today? This question must be answered. Because many companies do not give any attention to this because they are all busy, they are doing well today. Their all attention goes to doing what they have been doing better and better and better. Suddenly they find they are out of the race. So one should have a better perception of the future. It is the technology, it is the business models. How are the other people entering? Who are the new competitors going to be unheard of earlier? What kind of situation is going to be? It is not very easy to predict, but at least an awareness that it can happen can keep you running. What is surprise? Surprise is something which you don't expect. If a crisis, we know crisis is coming, and if it comes, we are better prepared to face that, rather than if we don't expect any crisis. The crisis comes, we will be finished. What to do? What happens when the value really migrates? There are options, right or wrong. You can simply exit. You see GE, they sold off their TV business to Japanese rivals. In fact, GE has one philosophy, fix it, sell it or close it. You try to fix it, try to generate profit, try to make it healthy. If it doesn't, sell it. If there is no takers, you close it. GE totally, even the plastic, GE Plastic is one of their original company, original division. Which Welch, I think Welch came up only from that division. They sold it off. That means no attachment. See, when we wanted to close down our TV production in ECIL, there was a lot of emotional attachment. Not just in ECIL. I must tell you how difficult it is to close. You all have heard about the Intel. Intel today is a very famous company, very profitable company, very forward-looking company. They make your microprocessors. They started their business with DRAMs, dynamic memories. And the Japanese came out with a memory which were much lower in expenses. Intel knew that they are losing business on the DRAM business. They could not close it down. They were losing money year after year. It took 4 years for them to close down that division. There is a book, Andy Grove and Moore, that they are at the helm of affairs. Moore is that famous Moore's law. They could not close because there was so much of internal resistance. People said, no, Intel is known only for DRAM business. If you are out of it, Intel is finished. Then such arguments are put forward. Then he said that management is not forward looking. They should not close this business. And you will hear all this kind of even in our organizations. But management is paid for taking that kind of forward looking business, forward looking decisions. So ultimately they decided, it's a very famous book, Paranoid Survival. They decided what will happen if new people, if these people are fired. It's very common in US to fire chairman. If anything happens, first fire the chairman. What will happen? The new chairman will, what will he do? He will simply close it down. He has no emotions. So then they decided, okay, let us go out of this door and come back from that door and close it. That's exactly what they did. So though it is easy to say that you close down the unprofitable divisions, very difficult to practice. It's a very painful process. We all are faced with that. Many companies are facing that. It's very difficult to close down a. But GE took a very drastic step on that. Fix it, sell it, close it. Some people defend. For example, a very classic example is a hard, what is it called? The computer, your hard disk. It's competing with the optical and solid state memory. They are bringing in more and more into that space. They are still surviving. You see solid state, optical and magnetic. So you can defend your thing. There is an advantage. You know the customer knows SIGAT or whatever name it is. They know the customers. They can bring about, but this is only for a short period. The technology which is totally different is eventually going to take over this. Acquire a substitute technology. Many companies do it. When flat TV came, or LCD kind of TV came, the Sony which bought those small companies and helped them because they wanted to delay this. How ethical it is, but business they say everything is ethical. Many companies buy out the new outfits, bury them. But technology cannot be buried for long. It will erupt somewhere else. It may only help in delaying the introduction of your own product because your R&D is a bit slow. But if the entry barriers are not very high, you can build the business again. Very classic example is Swiss watch industry. Almost crumbled down, almost vanished, but they rebuilt the entire thing. Today what you saw, Swatch, Rado, your other watches are all from there. They have rebuilt the whole industry. They went down, but government helped them a lot because Swiss at that time Swiss means only two things. One is the bank, other one is the watch. So They had to build. And government gave them a lot of encouragement, lot of money and all that. And today's Swiss watches are much better than Japanese watches. Collaborate. Collaborate. What did Sony do? Sony lost the race in LCD TVs. Samsung, unheard of. Samsung, LG. They came out. If you look at 10 years back, these companies were not known anywhere. And today, you see every one of us, I think, are having either Samsung or fridge or TV or whatever it is. They have captured the entire market. So Sony joined hands with Samsung. They started a joint venture for making LCD tubes. Collaborate. ECIL also has done it with Bell in EW systems or some other electronic voting machines. So collaboration is a very powerful tool. Collaboration between two competitors. But then you have to have a mindset for that. There is a lot of internal opposition. Now we come to a term called creative destruction. Successful businesses must be willing to destroy the old while it is still successful, if they want to build the new and make it successful. My person who was heading fuse division is here. What did ECIL do in fuse division? We have been making fuses for 20 years, or slightly more than that, called the VT80 or something like that. It's all indigenous, 100% contribution within the country. But we suddenly found it is going to vanish. This technology is going to vanish. And there was still a good demand in India for that. Then we said if we fast forward for 3 years, this product is not needed by defense forces. They will need something much better than this. And if we don't do it today, our fuse division will be closed and somebody else will do it. The market is not going to wait for you to improve or you to establish, etc. If you don't do it, somebody else will.